What's inside Cleopatra's tomb scares the entire world. Terrifying Pompeii Chamber. First up is the Forbidden Chamber found in Pompeii, a preserved ancient Roman city in Campania, Italy. It's renowned as a UNESCO World Heritage Property and is often considered one of the most prominent archaeological sites in the world. Pompeii was previously buried under several feet of ash and rock after the catastrophic eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 8079, which explains why many public buildings in the area, including temples, public bath complexes, and theaters, have been studied extensively. In 2021, researchers stumbled upon a sprawling villa called Civita Giuliana, which is located about 700 meters northwest of Pompeii. When they searched the villa, they were shocked to see a forbidden slave chamber. Inside the cramped room, there were three wooden beds, a chamber pot, a chariot shaft, one small window, and a wooden chest containing metal and fabric items. The chamber was devoid of any decorations or wall art, which once again confirmed that it was only used by slaves. Several personal objects were also found under the beds, including ceramic jugs and Roman jars that might have belonged to different members of one family. Archaeologists consider the Forbidden Chamber an exceptional discovery because it provides a rare glimpse into the precarious reality of people who seldom appear in historical sources. According to German archaeologist Gabriel Zuchtriegel, who is also the Director General at the Archaeological Park of Pompeii, the chamber helps us to discover a part of the ancient world which we would otherwise know little about, which is nonetheless extremely important. Excavations on the site of the Civita Giuliana villa first started in 2017. Since then, researchers have also found the remains of two victims of the Mount Vesuvius eruption, believed to have been a master and a slave. A ceremonial carriage was also discovered in the same residence, along with the remains of horses. In 2022, researchers in Pompeii also came across a few other shocking discoveries. There was a partially mummified skeleton of a slave, including his hair and bones, which were found in a tomb at the necropolis of Porto Sarno. According to the scientists, the man was buried at least a decade before the Vesuvius eruption. Cannibal skulls. How terrified would you be if you found a piece of crockery made out of a human skull? In 2021, researchers came across a huge collection of preserved human skulls in Somerset County, southwest England. But these weren't just any skulls. Dating back nearly 14,000 years, these cannibal skull cults, as they were called, had been purposely shaped in a certain way. Scientists found clear signs of butchery on these skulls, which suggest that they were cut, butchered, and then shaped in a specific way to be used for storage, serving, or drinking purposes. In a way, these disturbing but somewhat interesting skulls represented the handiwork of early modern humans who used tool stones to prepare, carve, and clean their containers. Fire mummies. Speaking of shocking human remains, this is another major discovery that terrified scientists. The Kabayan mummies, also known as the fire mummies of the Philippines or Ibalay mummies, were found near the mountain slopes of the municipality of Kabayan, northern Philippines. Paleolithic Pancheon de Dong. During the late 90s, paleontologists found a collection of bones in the Pancheon de Dong cave, a national preservation site in southern China. These prehistoric remains belonged to large animals like rhinos and elephant-like stegodons that weren't typical inhabitants of such a monumentous cave. This is why the discovery was so puzzling for paleontologists who suspected that the group of rhinos and other creatures didn't wander into the caves on their own. Further analysis of the bone fragments revealed human intervention because the bones had been burned, cut, and pounded, probably with stone tools. That said, it's unclear what happened with these animals in the Pancheon de Dong. The Catacombs Bone Theater. The Catacombs of Paris is one of the most searched historical places and popular tourist attractions in France. The underground tunnels reportedly hold the remains of nearly 6 million people, so it shouldn't be too surprising that the catacombs are homes to many surprising discoveries. In 2004, cops discovered a secret underground theater and restaurant in the catacombs. It could easily accommodate 20 viewers and was fully equipped with features like a professionally installed electricity system, a full-size cinema screen, projection equipment, and tapes of popular films from the 50s. The 400 square meter cave was also guarded by a closed-circuit TV camera that recorded anyone who passed, and whenever they got close, a recording of dogs barking was triggered to scare them away. It was also reported that this underground cinema had a smaller cave next door that had been converted into a bar. There were bottles of whiskey and other spirits behind a bar, tables and chairs, and a pressure cooker for making couscous, said a spokesperson. The whole thing ran off a professionally installed electricity system, and there were at least 3 phone lines down there. Safe to say, the catacombs were both fascinating and bone-chilling in a lot of ways. Before we proceed any further with this video, do be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell icon to be notified of our latest videos. The Lost City of Giants. Can you imagine giants inhabiting our planet? According to some historians, that may have been a possibility. Back in 2012, a group of explorers made one of the most talked about discoveries of the century. They found an entire hidden city deep in the jungles of Ecuador, a South American country renowned for the Amazon forest and the wildlife-rich Galapagos Islands. The Lost City of Giants made headlines all over the world when several oversized tools and gigantic structures were found within the vicinity. The largest of the remains was a 260-foot tall by a 250-foot wide pyramid, and according to Ecuador natives, it could be evidence of a population of giants who once lived in the region, which is truly shocking. The Rosetta Stone. Next on the list is the Rosetta Stone, one of the most important objects currently displayed at the British Museum. It can be best described as a tablet of black rock called granite diorite, which dates back to 196 BC, or Egypt's Ptolemaic dynasty. The Rosetta Stone is inscribed in 3 versions of a decree issued during that time, which is why it holds the key to understanding Egyptian scripts. It's also helped archaeologists translate and decipher Egyptian hieroglyphs, which are scripts made up of small pictures used originally in ancient Egypt for religious texts. The Rosetta Stone was discovered in 1799 by a French soldier in Napoleon's army named Pierre-François Bouchard, and after Napoleon's defeat, the stone was acquired by the British under the terms of the Treaty of Alexandria. The Luxor Valley. Finally, let's talk about the infamous Valley of the Kings in Luxor, Egypt, which has baffled archaeologists for years now. Originally belonging to the ancient Egyptian city of Thebes, this valley is known to be the mass burial site where tombs were constructed for royal figures, pharaohs, and privileged nobles for a period of nearly 500 years from the 16th to 11th century BC. After archaeologists studied the valley in detail, they realized that it has a total of 63 tombs and chambers, which vary in size and depth, ranging from a simple pit to a complex tomb with over 120 internal chambers. But the entire series of royal underground chambers have one thing in common. They're all adorned with wall paintings and hieroglyphs hinting at Egyptian mythology, as well as the beliefs and funerary rituals of the ancient period. Most of the mummies and their precious artifacts that were once found in the Valley of the Kings now lie in Cairo's Egyptian Museum, except for Egypt's renowned king, King Tutankhamun, who is buried in his own tomb. And that's all for today's video, guys. We'll see you again in the next one, and until then, take care and bye for now.